Hello everyone, I'm Lincoln and this is Tokens and Heft. This week we're taking a look at Lords of Waterdeep, the D&D board game. Well, not the D&D board game, a D&D board game. There's several out now. This is Lords of Waterdeep, where you are one of the factions who kind of runs Waterdeep behind the scenes. Instead of you yourself going out on quests and doing things, you're back running the city, sort of, and you're sending other adventurers out for that. So let's get this open. It's got this weird style of box where it's like, this is like kind of a lid, but it's really the bottom, and then you got this thin half lid on top. And the box looks nice closed up, but this is kind of starting to sag and get weird, kind of because it's not really that thick. I find it weird that this is not the way this is not broken. This is just the way the game comes. This border gets attached and sunk in, I guess, but these two don't get attached, which is a little annoying. Beautiful rule book, rule summary. It's got everything you could need in here, including at the very back, like, oh, here's what all the different agents are and their little backstories. You'll be playing as one of the Lords of Waterdeep, and they have all the info for that. The storage diagram, because guys, I'm a sucker for game storage, and I hate it when they're stored poorly. You know, when a game comes with like, actually, I'd prefer a game came with nothing as opposed to just a big open box, as opposed to like kind of giving me storage that's just terrible. But look at this. Would you? Look at this. These are the adventurers. They're each in their own little curved little sections. We've got clerics, fighters, rogues, and wizards. This little section here is for all of the one money pieces, one currency, whatever, I forget what it's called. I forget, these are 5s or 10s, I believe 5s. These are all the victory points. We've got all 5 faction sheets stored in there. Each individual faction has its own little storage area set up with its agents, ownership markers, victory point tracker, and then should anyone get to 100 points, we have these little guys to help remind you of that, because the victory point thing doesn't go up that high. And these even have, they're cut out with a divot inside so that you don't have to sit there and fiddle with pulling them out without a nail or something. You just, boop, you just press down and they come down a little bit, angles the side up, and you pull it out. These little circular scorekeeper guys, these aren't just circles, they're actually, I don't even know if I could get that on camera if I zoomed in. It's a nice little like curved, like bowl type divot, but there's a ridge around the top, so it sits flat, but when you need to get it out, you kind of just poke your finger in and it slides to whatever side you need. You can just pull them right out. It's very nice. You'll notice all these cards along the top. These two sets of cards, the intrigue and the quest cards, are on top of these like angled things that actually have a storage space in the middle, so to get those cards, all you have to do is press on one side or the other. Bloop. And then inside here, we've got 2 of the other little non-specific figures that you might need to have, because there are ways to get other agents. Same thing over here. This is how you keep track of who is first player, which this is kind of a bidding game, sort of. Or it's taking actions kind of a thing, so turn order really matters. So that's your first player token. I'll put the quests back for a moment. We've got all the cards for the individual lords here. And then underneath that, in this little, we've got these notches on the side to hold these in place, and these are all the buildings. So, that's just the storage. Just opening the game up blew me away, because I'm like, this is such pretty nice storage, and it's great. We're going to hold off a sec, and I'm going to take everything apart and kind of set up a basic game. Okay, and we're back with a setup game. There's going to be a little camera work here, so watch your eyes, I guess. Oh, the creaking. Alright, so we've got the board as a whole set up. Let's zoom in. We've got, up in this corner on the 0 spot are the victory points for all the players in the game. They're all at 0. I'm using 3 people right now just as a good demo. Then we have the quest area up here with 4 quests already laid out. There's a quest discard. Along the sides you'll see the left and right are slots for buildings. You can build 5 on either side. There will be a total of 10. Down here we have the intrigue deck and the building stack. And down here I can actually show you kind of how you initially set up the game a bit. You see all those little piles of tokens. Those are victory points. There are 3 on each one, and they're for each round. So, one of the things you do beginning of the first round is, well, you would dole out those quest cards, but you would also take 3 buildings, deal them out here, take all 3 of these guys off of here, and put 1 on each building. Because anyone who buys one of those or builds one of them, you don't buy them and use them later. You purchase them and they would get put out on the board. If you buy one of those, they will get that 1 victory point. Say one of these guys is left over and doesn't get bought in the first round, and there are 2 more out, then you would still put 3 out, so these guys would each get 1. Now that guy's up to 2, so it gives you more of an incentive to buy the buildings that haven't been purchased yet. Leave that there. Reset this to round 1. If these tokens were not being uncooperative. So let's stick these guys back. That there. That there. Alright. So, how on earth does this work? Well, let's take a look at the character portion first. Or rather, the Lords. There is my faction. I am the Knights of the Shield. This card has a couple areas. This side is for the active quests, and it's labeled as such. This side is for completed plot quests, and I think you might start with a quest, I forget. And then up here is your agent pool, where the little agent meeples are going to go out. You're going to send them out to do things for you. Here's where you keep completed quests face down, because these are plot quests that are completed on this side. Plot quests give you an ongoing benefit once you've completed them. Regular ones, you kind of just keep in this face down stack here for scoring. And here's where you keep all of your adventurers. It should be, your clerics, fighters, rogues, and your wizards. So they're all just sitting around congregating in your tavern there. So how does this all work? I'm going to put these guys back for now, just because I'm not sure if you actually have any yet. Well, we've got all these spots all over the board. We've got Builder's Hall, which is where you can build things. We've got Waterdeep Harbor, Aurora's Rarities Shop, all sorts of fun stuff that you can do. Hold on a sec. I'll do it from here, and I will just kind of point them all out and go over them real quick. You won't be zoomed in, which is unfortunate, but it'll be much faster and easier for everyone. So what have we got? Field of Triumph. If you send your agent to the Field of Triumph, you instantly get 2 warriors. Likewise, Blackstaff Tower nets you a wizard going to the Grinning Lion Tavern. We'll get you 2 rogues. And going to the Plinth, we'll get you a cleric. Those are the basic things for getting, for just accruing guys in a simple, normal fashion. Here at Aurora's Realms shop, you will just get 4 monies. I forget the actual name for the currency in this game. But yeah, you'll just get, get 4 gold. Castle Waterdeep here, if whoever goes there will get the first person marker, and they are first person for the following round. Because everyone, in a 3-player game, you start with 3 agents. In a 4 or 5-player game, you start with 4 of your agents out. And the expansion allows for a 6-player game where everyone actually starts with 5, I believe. So each round, everyone's going to be sending their agents out and having them do different things. And once everyone's used all their agents, there's a little bit of wrap-up, and then you start the next round. So continuing with the actions that you can do. Castle Waterdeep will net you the first player token and one of the intrigue cards. Intrigue cards are fun and devastating. They're ways to mess with your opponents. Like, here we've got conscription. Take 2 fighters from the supply and place them in your tavern. Choose an opponent. That opponent takes a fighter from the supply and places it in his or her tavern. So you've got stuff like that, which is just kind of nice. That was a utility. You can kind of see they all have a type a lot of the time. This is lack of faith. Each opponent removes a cleric from his or her tavern and returns it to the supply. For each opponent that could not do so, you get an extra 2 VP. So you generally just mess with people. And here's a fun one. This is what I picked up this deck for. You can play mandatory quests on people. Now the whole game is mostly about completing these quests up at the top, and you're using the bunches of adventurers you've got to pull that off, but you can play mandatory quests on people. Mandatory quests, you give that to an opponent, they cannot complete any non-mandatory quests until they do this. So you play this on someone, this becomes their whole focus, just getting rid of this. And they cannot complete any other quests and continue with their normal-ish game until they're done with this. It's still a regular quest, though. If they have one of each of these, they can return them to the supply, and get that reward. So, they still can get VP and stuff, but it shuts down their whole strategy, and it really just screws up their turn. It's so much fun to actually play that on someone. Now, you may have noticed that it said that you play that at Waterdeep Harbor. Because intrigue cards, you don't just get to play them whenever you like. This space here at Waterdeep Harbor is where you play your intrigue cards. Now, this is neat. Let me get a pawn from each guy. Because unlike most of the spots, this is a spot where multiple people can go. So one person could go there, and then maybe black on their turn went there, and red on their turn went there. So all 3 of them are taken up. The spots have numbers on them because you have to execute in order. So yellow gets to play an intrigue card. And the nice thing about Waterdeep Harbor is that after you play the intrigue card, you can then use that agent on any other available space. Now, the thing is, this happens at the end of the round. Actually, no. The intrigue cards happen instantly. As soon as you set a guy there, they can do that. Oh, someone should have gone a quest. Just populated the board a little bit. Because you put someone there, you play your intrigue card. And then at the end of the round, before you really actually end the round, these 3 guys, in order, are allowed to take these and go somewhere that's still open. There, and then there's a spot for that. So the agents who go there, they can still do something besides playing that card. They're just going to have less of a choice. Get these guys off here. I will just put them in there for now, ignoring the beautiful storage. So yeah, that's what happens in Waterdeep Harbor. Builder's Hall is really simple. You go here, and if you can pay the cost of a building, here, I'll pull a new one. The costs are in the upper left there. Then they can build that building. All these empty slots around the side are places, it doesn't matter where you place them, just wherever you want. And then, these little guys come into play. These are your ownership tokens, and it's just a nice little way to do this. They could have just given you a regular token to sit on top, but these notches in the corner fit these guys very well. And then you always know that someone's got, that person owns that. Now, the ownership comes in because all of the buildings are basically extra action spaces that everyone can take, and they do a bunch more cool stuff, and they're always more powerful. See, when purchased, okay, this is a fun one. There's a couple things where when you purchase them, and then at the start of each round, you put 2 fighters. There's ones for rogues and clerics and wizards too. And then whoever goes there takes all of them that have piled up over here. So this is a thing you might let go for 2 rounds, maybe 3 rounds. And then you jump on it and you pick up like 4 to 6 fighters, which is great. Now, see here at the bottom, it says owner. That's on every building. And what that means is, no matter who goes here, if anyone goes here, the owner gets that. So anyone goes here, the owner will get that little extra 1 fighter. Let's take a look at some of the other ones. Oh, there. I mentioned it, and there it is. The Tower of Order is the accumulating wizard one. So it gets 1 wizard per thing. Someone goes there, they take all of them. You go there, the owner gets an intrigue card. This one's a money gathering one. The owner will get 2 out of that. We'll get 2 gold out of this one. When this one's not too bad. House of the Moon's kind of cool. You get a cleric and you take one of the face-up quests. Pretty cool. And again, this is how much it costs to actually build them. So you spend that much money, and then you can place them out on the board with your ownership token. Then up at the top here we have the quests. There are 3 icons for the quests. Now, unlike Waterdeep Harbor, you don't have to do these in any order. You can take whichever one you want. There are the first one here, or the farthest left one. You'll take one of the quests, and you get 2 money. This space is you take a quest and an intrigue card. This is weird but fun. This, you discard all of these, draw out 4 more, then you choose your quest. And that's essentially the game. There's a few things I'm going to go over. Let's go over quests, since I haven't talked about them, and they are kind of the main focus. Quests come in, I believe these are the only 4 types. Skullduggery, Piety, Commerce, and Warfare. And you'll see quests have a requirement. This one requires 4 fighters and 4 gold. As a reward, you will get 6 victory. Ooh, and this is a plot quest. So it's got a bonus. Whenever you take an action that provides any fighters, you also take fighters from the supply. Oh, also take 1 fighter from the supply and place it in your tavern. So that's really cool. If you actually completed this, it would be sitting out as your plot quest, and every time you got fighters, you'd get 1 extra fighter from the supply. So a commerce quest. This is not a plot quest. This is a more normal quest. You need a cleric, 3 rogues, and 2 gold. You'll get 7 victory points, an intrigue card, and you get to draw a quest from the deck. You don't know what it's going to be, because it's not one of the face-up quests, but you still get to draw one of them, which is great. Piety. Eliminate the Vampire Coven. 2 clerics, 2 fighters, and a rogue. You get 11 freaking victory points for this, and 4 gold. This is really nice, and that, for the amount of gold, or especially for the amount of victory points, this isn't that big a deal. I mean, it's kind of tougher to get rogues, and it's a little tough to get clerics, but it's still not bad. And these are skullduggery quests. This is a tough one. Cleric, 2 fighters, 4 rogues, and a wizard. Well, it's the raid on Undermountain, so that makes sense. And you get 20 victory points and 2 gold for this. That's really awesome. And at the end of each thing, or each round, actually, I think it's as soon as anyone buys any, you put a new one out. They just refresh instantly. And they've got a nice little discard pile over here for those. Intrigue has its own little labeled out discard pile. And that's it. That's kind of the game. And I don't know if I explained it as in a manner that makes it seem as exciting as it is, but it's really fun. It's a game where you're messing with your friends. You got plots. You can play the long game. You can play the short game. There's so much to this that, like, when I first saw a review of this, I wasn't too sure, but it kept growing on me and just kind of wormed its way into my brain. Another fun thing that I want to point out is, a sec. I want to zoom in a little bit. These guys down here. Notice how we have a couple of agents hanging out down here. That's because by the time you guys get to the round 5, after you've done all the setup for round 5, release the agents. Everyone playing will get 1 extra agent. So for rounds 5, 6, 7, for the second half of the game, 5, 6, 7, and 8, you will have 1 extra agent to do with as you please. That really changes things and really makes things amazing. I'm getting overwhelmed just remembering games of this I've played. This is a really fun game. It's not so much action-packed, but there's plenty of interaction and messing with people. And, I mean, a lot of what happens comes from all of these buildings, which I'm not going to go through all of them. There's so many different things. There's the Ambassador. The Ambassador is an extra unit, but you can assign him. No matter who's the first player, you assign the Ambassador before anything else. Hold on a sec. Somewhere in here is another guy, too. It's like the sheriff or something, I think. Could be very wrong on that. Alright, maybe it's a quest or something. Or it might be an intrigue card, too. There's 2 different ways to get an additional guy, and that was one of them. And I know there's another one in here. Right? Nope, it's not this bottom one. But yeah, this is a really neat little game about behind the scenes of Waterdeep and all these little deals that go. And it's kind of interesting to be the guy who sends the adventurers out as opposed to the adventurers. They've got their own stuff to do, and it's just as fun and interesting. It's just not as combat oriented. Yeah, I'm getting caught up because I just want to keep saying, this is fun! Because Lords of Waterdeep works out to be a pretty darn fun game. We've had a lot of fun with this. Keep saying fun over and over again. But yeah, it's a good time. It might come off, like the premise might seem a little dry, but it's actually a really good time. This has been Lincoln for Tokens and Heft. I'll see you guys next week.